Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start. As you may know, that buildings and construction sector account for up to 40% of carbon dioxide emission. And also, we are responsible for 1/3 of global energy consumption. Also, the cement accounts for 8% of global emissions. So these environmental impacts are quite serious. How can we improve or eliminate this situation? In fact, most of our industry leaders, they agree this is the topic we need to discuss and take action to improve the situation. In this section, actually, I have researched some Autodesk University classes, and we can have a view of how other expertise, they are creating workflows and some process to deal with this topic. And actually, for the technology and process that can assist to for sustainability is BIM, DFMA, smart buildings, digital twins, just like what I mentioned this morning. Tandem can also help. AI, machine learning, automation. And you may heard about some terms on sustainability, such as LCA, EC3, etc. And also some new innovation of materials in construction can help. And I found that most of the technologies and process, they're related to BIM. So what are we doing dealing with BIM, not just design and construction, but also can help us to shape a better world? Okay, so BIM can be as a central reporting on model and energy data. As you may know, when you are doing Revit model, it can do some energy analysis, such as a solar study, daylight analysis, or even if you are pursuing LEED, LED, there are some plug-in for you to use. And also we have some cloud solutions, such as Insight. And we have a wind simulation program named CFD, and also we have purchased a company named SpaceMaker a few years ago. And right now it can be integrated to Revit for a better design in conceptual stage. Plus, we can use CDE, Common Data Environment, not just for better exchange of information, but all the data, they are centralized for better collaboration and reduce communication error, and hence we can reduce waste during construction process. And furthermore, when we are working very well on CDE, all the data are recorded and stored in the single platform, so the data can be extracted for further analysis and AI process. Okay, in this session, I have collected 4 AU classes to share with you. So we just spent about 20 minutes to go through maybe just a brief introduction. If you have interest, you may refer to this later on. The first class is the using technology and software to create more sustainable designs. And May Winfield, she is from Buro Happo. And let's take a look of what she has introduced in this AU class. All these AU class, they were from 2022. So the information are quite updated. So these are the targets or goal of Buro Happos. They are trying to reduce their operational carbon emission by 21% by 2025, and aim to be net zero carbon from April 2021. And when you heard about greenhouse gas, GHG, and it may be related to some terms such as EC, embodied carbon. And you may also heard about operational carbon. And to calculate or evaluate the carbon dioxide during the construction project, there is a software or program named EC3, embodied carbon in construction calculator. Later on, I will introduce more. Okay, and the other goal is to design all building project to be net zero in operation by 2030. And finally, they want to reduce embodied carbon intensity of all new buildings, major retrofits, and infrastructure projects by 50% by 2030. So all these goals are already here. Let's see how they are trying to achieve these goals. So in her presentation, she has mentioned some toolkit, because I assume that most of the AIAB audience, we are technical, BIM manager, BIM practitioner, we are familiar with our BIM tools. And she has mentioned about BHOM. BHOM is Buildings and Habitats Object Model. And LCA is Life Asset Assessment. So many points, so many words here. Let me look at them one by one. So modeling methodology used to quantify carbon emissions and other environmental impacts of a process through life cycle stages, and allows party to assess carbon on early models. Informs early design decision to minimize environmental impact. Allow an analysis of the elements within an existing structural reference model. So she provided a name which is linked to GitHub. When I click to the link, I found that there are some introduction, and when I search BHOM on Google, it will guide me to the Building and Habitats Object Model website, and it introduce the big picture of this concept and the toolkit to calculate to evaluate the LCA of the building model in different traits such as structure, foundations, MEP, etc. So what is it actually? Is it just a high-level concept? Actually, no. In her presentation, she used Rhino and some Revit model to demonstrate how she calculate the carbon dioxide, the ECO2, and she can extract the data for the life cycle assessment test and create some charts for better insights and decision making. So, I'm talking about Rhino. How about Revit? Actually, we have some tools, I will introduce it later on, which can combine Revit and Dynamo together. And in fact, in that website, let me show you. Let me go back. You see, maybe in the latest pages, I will mention it again. We have the package for Dynamo to help you calculate this information. Okay, so let's take a look of the other AU class, which is by Tressler Collier. It's the streamlined process of the carbonization. So in her presentation, she has clearly explained what is the EC, embodied carbon, which is it breaks down by the material extraction, materials manufacturing, transportation, building construction. Different stages, they contribute the carbon emission. And we also have the operating carbon, which is by the lighting, ventilation, water heating, cooking, refrigeration, etc. And we have the carbon offsets. Which is like a formula. when all these elements and components, they add together, and then we'll have the total net carbon impact of your building project and components. So she mentioned in her presentation is some workflows and a toolbox for BIM. So when focused on embodied carbon, she mentioned the following tools on the upper box. She has used it for the calculation, Revit Wano, and some plug-in, and the EC3, the calculator. And for the operation carbon, which is similar tools for calculation. So the workflow or the timeline is like this one. So you can see in this chart, which is from the design stage to deliver, pricing, implementation, and different stages. They can use the BIM model, the Revit model, to extract information for further calculation. She also used our platform, BIM 360. Now the new platform is ACC, and then use the EC3, the calculator, Excel, and Power BI to create a comprehensive data set for the whole project. And she even have some template for Revit for her to kickstart the whole workflow. You can see that in her Revit file, she may have some settings on the elements. Different elements have different filters or parameters. And you can see in this slide, in the bottom of the slide is the workflow she has went through during the process. She has used Excel, Revit, Dynamo, Tolly, Power BI, EC3. Okay. So the next class I want to share is from Justin and Marcel. There's no planet B, sustainability's the key. Okay. So in this class, they have demonstrated how to use Dynamo and Revit to calculate the embodied carbon. So you can see that for the Dynamo, there is a library, a package you can download, and then you can apply to all your building objects in Revit, and then you can get the schedule, the Excel table here to find the kgCO2e and the density for each materials in your project. And then after they have this information or data, they can extract from the Revit and then put it to Excel or Power BI for a more comprehensive chart or presentation. Which can show the materials, which materials have the heavy weight or heavy ratio of in carbon dioxide emission. Okay, inside the same project, they also make use of the Revit plug-in function, the data analysis, the daylight analysis function, and the artificial lighting analysis. This function is also available in our Autodesk gallery, just in case you want to try. Also, not just existing information for you to evaluate your building performance, you can also predict the future energy consumption or performance by using our Insight. Insight is a cloud platform, cloud program to help you analyze your building elements, energy consumption. Okay, so for this slide, is it familiar to you? Because this morning I've mentioned about digital twin. I have mentioned digital twins has classified into 5 stages. The first stage, or the basic stages of digital twin, is descriptive twin. And the second is informative digital twin. The third one is predictive digital twin, etc. So when our technology has been advanced and we can reach to the informative digital twins, or not just only the beam information we input manually, but we also can connect the information with the sensors, IoT sensors, the BMS systems, the CMSS system. Then all the information can be reflected to a dashboard. We can access this information anytime, anywhere, and then we can have a better insight and better cost control for sustainability development. And the next stage is the predictive digital twins, which is more advanced level. Where in operation energy analysis, the system, we want to create a system that can help you to make a more accurate information by your existing behavior, and they can predict or suggest some ways for improvement. Okay, so another class is from DPAC, which is the Sustainable Structural Design, answering the global environmental challenge. So this is quite weird because most of the sustainable design class or materials, they are from architects. But I seldom see any materials from structural design. So this speaker, he's from Australia. He tells us the industry trend for sustainability is to achieve long-term goal in 2050 is the net zero energy building design, which is 27 years later. Okay, and the zero waste construction. We always mention about zero waste construction, less error and less waste. Okay, and then sustainable cities and infrastructure, such as smart cities, IoT system, many things like that. Okay, so how we can achieve sustainability according the structural perspective? First of all, he mentioned minimize wastage, including collaborative workflows, which means if you have discovered your error or clashes in the early stage, you can avoid unnecessary rework or mistakes, which can save your time and save your resources. And use the embodied carbon in construction calculator. I will mention this later, okay. And look in modular construction, which is a hot topic in Hong Kong, right? The MIC, DFMA, and try low impact building materials, more environmental friendly materials. Okay. So in my presentation, you have seen a lot of EC3 and EPD. If you're interested, please do some research on Google, because time is very limited. I will just skip it. And the MIC, so MIC could help us to do a more environmental friendly project, and also can make sure the quality and cost effective, flexible. Okay, once again, I would like to mention this BHOM. In my previous slide, I've mentioned the BHOM. And you can search this www.bhom.xyz. When you go to this website, you can download a Dynamo package or installers for you to create some BHOM models and extract the information. Inside that web page, or you can click this link, refer to this link. We have a blog, something like that, a blog or an article to explain the details and show you the steps of how do you use your Revit model, Dynamo, and the PHOM package, and then with the EC3 calculator and concept, and then extra or generate useful information on embodied carbon. And then finally, you can go back to Revit to collect all the useful information in your project, in your schedule. So this is the script. This is the full script for the PHOM. And then once we have processed this Dynamo script, for example, you can see this column. In this table, the left-hand side is the properties of this column, and then you can see categories such as structural columns, phasing, and other. In the other category, you will find the two parameters such as embodied carbon and embodied carbon, KgCO2e. It will show you the data after you have run the Dynamo. Last but not least, because our new product SpaceMaker, it can also help you to define your design or improve your design, become more sustainable or environmental friendly in the early stage. So I would suggest you to take a trial in this website for now, which is available for Hong Kong market. So this is an AI cloud platform, especially useful for a big project area or for urban design. In this platform, we have the map. So you just need to input your address, and then, for example, right now is Wan Chai. I just type Wan Chai, and then you just click the boundary of your site, and then it will help you to extract the information of your building and also the surrounding area. It is somehow like InfoWorks. I'm not sure whether you have tried InfoWorks, but it is more intelligent, and the purpose, they are totally different. And the big news of this software, I've tried it 2 months ago. When I generate different options, I can generate over 100 of options by AI in the SpaceMaker. And then when I select the most optimized option, I can just input or link it to Revit. Right now, this is the new plugin in Revit, so you can use it. You don't need to recreate everything in Revit. Without SpaceMaker, previously our workflow may be, I can go to Google Map, or I can create something on InfoWorks or other software, and then just extra or export the information and then input back to Revit. But it is feasible, but not ideal, because they have some data loss, or the outcome are not beautiful enough. So I will suggest you to try. It is somehow like Format, our conceptual design stage software for BIM. So let's take a look of this. Inside this software, we also have some simulations, such as noise simulation and visual background, visual surrounding simulation, and also the daylighting simulation. We also have a microclimate analysis in this software. I think this is quite interesting, because it will show you how the climate, they are interacting between buildings and buildings. Okay, there are some cases when you go to SpaceMaker website, there are a lot of information, so I will skip this part. Okay, finally, if you are really interested in what I've mentioned in this session, please go back to check out Autodesk University for these 4 classes. Okay, and that's all for my sharing. Thank you so much.